Welcome to episode 15 of the Career Breakthrough series. I'm your host, Paul Ames, and guys, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below to allow us to bring more incredible guests like Paris onto our show and to help you succeed in your career and progress in your career a lot quicker. On the show today, I've got Paris Mitchell. I first met Paris at the St Vincent de Paul CEO Sleepout here in Perth, where Paris was the MC for the event and one of the keynote speakers. Paris shared such an incredible and moving story and journey of what he'd gone through from drug abuse and drug addiction and how he's overcome adversity and some of the biggest obstacles in his life. This is such a moving and powerful episode where Paris really opens up and tells you everything he's gone through, some of the challenges and biggest difficulties in his life. So guys, I can't wait to share this amazing episode with you, so let's get started. Welcome to episode 15 of the Career Breakthrough series. I'm your host, Paul Ames, and on the show today, we've got a super inspiring and motivating guy called Paris Mitchell. Paris is a motivational speaker who speaks at corporates and not-for-profit events. I first heard him when I went to the St Vinny's CEO Sleepout, and Paris was the MC there. He gave such an incredible journey and insight into his life and some of the tough challenges he's broken through, and I had to get him on my show. So Paris, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show, man. I really appreciate your time and you sharing your message to my audience. If you could first off give everyone a bit of an insight and background into who you are, where you grew up, and basically what your life was like for you growing up.
Yeah, so I'm a Perth boy. I'm now a speaker. I speak at different events, as you said. I make music. I do various things creatively. But yeah, it kind of, what I'm doing now comes from where I've been and what I've been through. And that essentially spawned from, coming from a broken home. My parents split. I spent my adolescence going backwards and forwards between each parent's house. Mum was, working really hard to try and support us. Dad was an artist, a creative. He spent a lot of his time smoking, and really my parents, good people, but they really struggled to raise a child. And I found myself without that parent presence that, you need at such an important age. And so I looked elsewhere for influences in my life. And I started drinking and smoking at about 11, 12. I was dealing with a lot of bullying at school. Not sure if you can see, red hair, cop ranger and different things. I always talk too much. Now that's a blessing for me, but it used to be something that reason I cop flack essentially. But yeah, I started getting into drinking and smoking, graffiti. And yeah, by the time I was 15, I dropped out of high school. I've been getting into lots of fights, lots of issues in school, and I just had enough and I left. And progressively after leaving, things just got worse. I started getting into prescription pills, using meth, and yeah, my life pretty quickly became a bit of a mess, doing pretty serious crimes to support my drug addiction, and hanging out with just people that weren't a positive influence on my life, but a big influence on my life. And they were my peers, they were people that were like me, that had been through similar things. But yeah, ultimately it led me in the wrong direction. Just before I turned 21, I ended up incarcerated. My son was born when I first went to jail. And yeah, it was behind bars that I really realized that I needed to change some things in my life. I needed to educate myself, and I needed to change the direction I was heading in. And that was, I had a moment when I was behind bars, about 3 months into my sentence. I was talking with a bunch of guys. There was 5 of us in the cell, me and 4 other guys. We found out about the recidivism rates. So that's the rates of people returning to prison after serving a term of imprisonment. And those rates at that point in time were close to 50%. Wow. Higher if you're Indigenous, but yeah, just really quite shocking statistics, really. Definitely. And, it's kind of like you become a number when you go into the prison system, and then realizing the reality that not only is your name replaced with you being a number, but you're also going to fit into these statistics that are there.
Yep.
And we start talking about the older guys that we knew, kind of role models, not good role models, but they were the guys we looked up to. And, the reality that it was highly likely one of us to be dead before we were 30. I'd already watched friends overdose. I'd known people that had been murdered. People had gone missing. Women I'd known had turned to prostitution. I personally had overdosed more times than I can count, being brought back to life. I'd spent years suffering from depression, anxiety issues, and one of my friends said, well, I'm not coming back. And I looked at him and I just thought, yeah, you are. And I looked around the room and I thought, and you're coming back, and you're coming back, and you might just end out dead. And I landed on myself. For the first time in my life, well, I'd spent a period of time kind of clear, and I'd never really reflected on the fact that, well, I was only going to end out one of a handful of places, and that was either dead, back in jail, essentially. And I just made the decision in myself. It hit me. I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. And I just said to myself, I've got to change some things. I have no idea what change looks like. I have no idea where I'm going to go with it. But I just decided in that point that, I deserve something better for my life, right? I didn't want to spend my life in a prison cell. Nobody wants to spend their life in a prison cell. And
definitely not.
yeah, so that kind of started my journey, and that was 5 years ago now, just over 5 years ago. And, over that time period, it hasn't been a straight path. It's been rocky. There's been times where I just couldn't see that things were going to get better for me. But ultimately, I kept going, and when times got difficult, I reached out to organizations that helped me, such as Vinny's, where you saw me speak, and just kind of kept going, essentially. And through that whole process, I've realized that there's, core things that make up where we end out in our lives. Definitely. And for me, that's, what's your vision for your life? Firstly, what's captivating you further down the line that you're moving forward towards? Secondly, what are the little things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis to get you there? And thirdly, who's your support system? Yep. Who are the people around you? And, for a large proportion of my life, I was, doing all those things pretty poorly. So, yeah, these are the things that I focus on now. I'm constantly reassessing where I'm going. I'm constantly reassessing who I want to become. Not achievement-wise, because I think it's easy to get caught up on achievements. Definitely. I'm very achievement-orientated. But really, who am I trying to become in that process? Like, what's the vision of who I'm becoming?
Exactly.
Which is the most important thing. And then what are the little things that I'm going to do consistently to get? What are the habits that I'm going to put in place? And who can I talk to? Who can I reach out to that's going to help me in that process?
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's perfect, Paris. Thanks so much for sharing that, man. That's an incredible journey you've come through. And I have to say, man, I'm so proud of you for coming out the other side. I've, seen the same sort of thing for a lot of friends where I've seen, end up in prison. Quite a few of my friends ended up, and I myself was kind of heading down that path too, but hanging around the wrong people who potentially I was heading into prison, and my parents worried for that. So yeah, I can completely relate, man. And I appreciate and respect everything you've come through, man. That's incredible, and you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah, thanks for that, Paul. I appreciate that.
So, Paris, I know we've touched on a few of these, but what would you say would be the biggest mental roadblocks that you've personally had to work through? I know you've gone through quite a lot, but what would be the biggest thing that you really struggled with, and how did you work through that?
Yeah, okay, the biggest thing that I've struggled with has been the thoughts that I have. Really the thoughts that I've had about myself and what I'm capable of. and what my value is and what my worth is. You know, growing up, as I said, there were a lot of things, and I had a lot of people over the years kind of put me down. So really kind of coming into understanding that a lot of the things that people put me down for are actually what makes me me.
Yeah,
right. So going through that whole process of realizing actually, you know, everybody has things about them that other people can pick on if they want to, right? And really embracing that, but learning to shift how I thought. Because the truth is, you know, 5 years ago, even 3 years ago, the way I thought about people was really quite twisted.
Yeah.
The way I thought about what's of value in society was twisted. You know, it was all quite twisted. And really, for me, it's been about changing how my mind works, changing what I think about, changing how I feel about people, and really that comes from changing how I feel about myself.
Exactly right.
So that's been mostly through the process of what I take in. I really believe that the mind works similar to a canvas, right? If you're a painter, you've got a canvas, and you go, okay, your mind is only going to be able to paint the picture that you give it with the paints that you give it.
Yep.
Right? Like if you give yourself blue and white, you're going to be able to make light blue.
Yep.
That's what your mind's going to be able to make. If you give yourself positive things and light things, well, that's what your mind has to work with. But then if you give yourself red and black and you try and paint with red and black, it doesn't matter how much mixing you do with red and black, you're going to come out with a pretty dark painting.
Definitely.
So, you know, a lot of what I was putting into my mind was the red and the black.
Yep.
So the resources that I had available to me were, you know, creating some pretty dark paintings.
Definitely.
And it really came down to, you know, you can essentially say indoctrinating yourself with positive thought.
Yep.
And it's meant that now I'm in a position where, you know, I used to slump into depression. I'd slump into depression 3-4 weeks at a time, and I would feel as though I just want to die. I wouldn't be able to get out of bed. I just want to obliterate myself. And this was even like that when I first got out of jail. But as I started to change what I put into my mind, I started to get more resources available to me. And slowly over time, that depression became less and less prevalent. And now it's at the point where, you know, I'll only slump every few months.
That's awesome, man.
Whereas it used to be, I would be lucky to have a half decent day every month.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's because of the resources that I started giving myself.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, man. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and what you've personally gone through. I know a lot of people could relate to that. I mean, a lot of people don't talk about depression, but yeah, it's amazing to, you know, hear those insights and how you've personally worked through that. So I appreciate you sharing that, man.
Yeah.
So Paris, we've all got positive and sometimes hindering habits that have contributed to either our success or they sometimes stopping us getting where we want to be or moving forward. So what would you say would be one of your biggest positive habits that you've instilled in yourself? And also, what would you say would be one of your biggest hindering ones that stopped you moving forward to where you want to get to?
Cool. Okay. I would say the most positive habit that I have now in my life is meditation.
Perfect.
Every morning I meditate for 20 minutes. I've been doing that for about 2 years now, and I haven't missed a day, and it has shifted everything. It's given me the ability to stop before I become too reactive. Yeah, so meditation, definitely, and it's varying. You know, the techniques that I use change. Sometimes I'll just have a mantra and I'll say the mantra over and over. Sometimes I focus just purely on my breath. Sometimes I will really focus on taking in my surroundings. But I believe that it's made me more productive. It's made me more efficient, effective. It's made me happier. It's helped me engage with my son more effectively. And I can bring it now into every area of my life, right? Like, I'll be out in the park. I remember a few months ago, I was out in the park, and I don't know why, but I was just feeling really like I had to be somewhere. I was with my son at the park, and I had this sense of urgency, like, oh, I should be productive right now. What am I doing at the park? Like, I wasn't happy being where I was. And I was sitting there in this kind of self-loathing manner, and I watched my son. And I was just watching him, and he was playing with this other boy. And, you know, they had sticks in their hands, and they were playing with the sticks. And I was watching them as the sticks clashed, and they were just, you know, they were fully there. And I was looking at him, and in all honesty, I had a bit of jealousy of him. I was slightly jealous of the fact that here he was, and he was just able to be there. He was not thinking about, you know, the fact that he hadn't achieved his day's goal, right? Or he wasn't thinking about any of this stuff. He wasn't thinking about the fact that he should have done an extra rep at the gym or whatever. But he was there playing. Yeah. And as I've sat there watching him, I've taken a deep breath, and it's just gone through my head, just be here. Just be here. Because I had nowhere else to be. Yep. There was nowhere else. I couldn't have been anywhere else. You know, I had nothing else to do. Nothing was more important than just being.
Yeah.
So that was something that I would have never had the ability to transition into that mind state had I not have, you know, developed the habit of meditation.
Definitely, man. That's powerful too. And I think a lot of us don't live in the moment. We're so forward-paced all the time that all we're thinking of is this ahead of us, and don't actually take in our surroundings or who's around us or what we're doing, or, you know, just enjoying our life. So, yeah, that's great, man. It's good that you can reflect on that and actually catch yourself in that moment too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's difficult, right? It's difficult.
Definitely.
Because life kind of dictates that you have to be achieving certain things.
Yep.
And the whole thing about achievement is that it's never over.
No.
It's never done.
Definitely not.
No matter what you're trying to achieve, it's never done. Because the second you achieve this thing, there's 10 other things on your list.
Exactly.
So it's like temporary insanity, but to just be aware that it's all there is. It's just be there.
Definitely, man. So on the other side of that, what would you say would be your most hindering? That obviously, yeah, that could be part of it. But is there anything else that you'd say would be something that hinders you and stops you moving forward?
In terms of a habit?
Yeah, or anything that you feel with this person, or something personal about yourself that you feel that, yeah, really hinders you, or a belief or a habit or something that's, you utilize every day.
Yeah, something that I've, you know, been working on that, well, there's a couple of things. Right? I'm constantly working on myself, but I think one of the things that was the most difficult to overcome, sleep patterns. Sleep patterns is difficult, or has been difficult, because obviously what I do, there's a lot of nights. You know, you go to events at nights, networking things, that kind of thing. Definitely. But actually, I like to be a morning person.
Yep.
So you kind of go through this thing where you're like, oh, I know I should be getting this much sleep every night, but I've got an event, and that event's going to run till 10:30, but I want to wake up at 5. And then, so really trying to learn the balance of going, okay, well, this is the time that I want to wake up, and saying to yourself, not beating yourself up for the fact that sometimes I just need a bit more sleep.
Yep.
And that's something that's hard. I'm pretty hard on myself. So that's probably the habit. Underlying it all is the habit, is that I critique myself more than anyone else could critique me, ever.
Yep.
I'm just on myself, and it's like, this is not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. There's always another level.
Yep.
But kind of coming to the thing where you go, you know what, if you're out at an event and you don't get home till 10:30 or 11, and you don't have urgent appointments first thing the next day, well, wake up at 6:30. Don't force yourself to wake up at 4:30, right?
Exactly, man. Exactly right.
And if you try and don't beat yourself up if you can't do it.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're our own worst enemy a lot of the time. So, yeah, we're always harder on ourselves than others will be on us. So, yeah, I appreciate the honesty and you sharing all of that, man. And it really means a lot. Yeah. So Paris, what would you say would be 3 to 5 actionable career tips or learnings that people could really help my audience with moving forward in their career or potentially finding something they love? What do you think would be some actionable advice that you could give them that would really help them out in their career?
5. Okay, so the first I would say is assess what your job really is. And if your job at this current point in time is not a job where you're using your mind, your job is going to be automated. Yeah. Right? Like, this is a harsh reality that most people don't want to talk about. But if your job is routine tasks, repetitive tasks, your job will be automated. Right? The jobs of the future are the jobs where people are using their minds to create new things.
Definitely.
Right? So that means that education is the critical key. It's the key. If you really want to develop yourself, if you really want to get to another level in your career, then educate yourself. Educate yourself. And learn from fields outside your expertise. Yep. Because that'll bring you the most into your expertise. Because the majority of people, if they are learning everything within their expertise. Yep. So, yeah, sure, they end out as an expert, but they're all repeating the same things.
Exactly, man.
So take things from outside of your reality and you're going to be in a better position. That would be the first thing. Educate yourself to pursue yourself.
Perfect, man. That's awesome.
Career-wise, to improve your career, well, if you want to improve your career, don't be in a job that you are not 100% satisfied with. Yep. Because it doesn't matter how much you're getting paid. If you're not 100% satisfied with a job or a position that you're in, there's only going to be so far that you can go in that job. Because top positions are reserved for the people that are most passionate.
Exactly, man.
So there's always going to be a roof on what you're able to achieve. Career-wise, yeah. Ask yourself how much money is really worth to you. Right? How much is money really worth? Because too many people are caught up in the concept of having to have money to be happy, to be able to have all the things that they need. But the truth is, to have the things that you want or need, a lot of it is more about resourcefulness than it is finances.
Yep.
So, yeah, consider what money really means. And health, you know, you want to have a good career, you've got to be on the ball with your health.
Definitely, man.
That's awesome, and I completely agree. I've seen worked with way too many clients that have gone into a career or got the idea of getting into a new career just for money, and I've said exactly the same thing to them. It's like, if that's all that's driving you, you're going to reach this point where things are too difficult and you're just going to go, screw it. I'm not going to bother, because you don't have enough reason backing you and big enough why as to why you're doing it. So yeah, that's great, man. I love that advice, and so very true. So thanks for that.
Yeah, no. All go out the window, right?
Yeah, exactly right, man. So Paris, we're just getting ready to wrap up soon, but what would be some parting advice you'd love to share with my audience that you think that some of the biggest learnings that you've had in your life or potentially in your career, what would be some of the biggest learnings you'd love to share with the audience?
I suppose I would say that your life is for you to live. At the end of the day, nobody else really cares what you do with your life. People get so caught up on what they think, their mother thinks they should do, what they think their father thinks they should do, what, their partner thinks, all these other things. But for the most part, people are so focused on themselves that they don't really care what you do.
Exactly.
They want to see you happy, but if you're happy being, a cleaner, or if you're happy being a sports trainer, or if you're happy, running a small online business, they don't care as long as you're a pleasant person to be around.
Exactly.
So just, ask yourself, what do you really want? Like really, 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 really. And say to yourself, what am I prepared to go without to get there? And ultimately, your life is for you.
Yeah.
It's not for anyone else, and you're not anyone else. You're not your brothers, you're not your sisters, you're not your family, you're not your friends, you're your own individual. And yeah, we define our own lives. And for me, I just am constantly saying to myself, who do I want to become? What can I do to get there? Who can I reach out to? And what prices am I prepared to pay to get there?
That's perfect, man. That's really good advice. Guys, go back and have a listen to what Paris has just said. That's brilliant advice about, making your life about you. Don't let the influence of others help dictate which direction or path you should be heading down. Find out what's most important to you. So, Paris, I just wanted to say thank you so much for being on the show, man. I've, ever since I heard your first speech at Vinny's, I was, blown away by it, and it was just incredible to hear your journey. So I appreciate your time coming on the show, man. So where's the best way for my audience to get in contact with you? I know you've got your website and up, and your speaking events, your amazing speaking events, which I highly recommend. If anyone's looking for an amazing speaker, definitely look at getting Paris. He's incredible. So where would be the best place to get in contact with you, mate?
Yes, straight through my website, www.parismitchell.com.au. There's a contact me form. Head on over there. I'm on Facebook. I do a bit of Snapchat, LinkedIn, but yeah, my website is my primary base, and I put videos up there. And coming into the new year, there's going to be masses of content coming out next year, and of a really high standard. I'm working with a couple of just incredibly talented guys, so there's going to be some just creatively, it's just brilliant. I mean, to just have a few people that you have incredible chemistry with. Yeah, and working on a book, EP, and a sore throat. So,
awesome.
Website.
Definitely. And I just wanted to welcome you to the Career Breakthrough Tribe, mate. I really appreciate your time. And guys, stay tuned next week. We'll have another incredible guest like Paris on the show. I can't wait to bring that episode to you then. Take care, guys. Have you ever wished there was just one place that could have all aspects of your career and your career development covered? Whether that be creating standout resumes, cover letters that really wow your interviewers, or helping you nail that job interview every single time, as well as clarifying and uncovering your passion and purpose and discovering a career path that really lights you up inside. Well, guys, this is why myself and my business partner, Sarah Cordner, have created our amazing online course.
This is the only career resource you'll ever need in your life, and it covers everything with 11 hours of content, which goes from how to create a standout cover letter, how to forge an unstoppable positive mindset, which is really going to help you thrive in your career, how to ask for pay rises and promotions, how to tap into the hidden job market to get amazing jobs that aren't even advertised, and many, many more. So guys, this really is your one-stop shop for career development, and it's going to help you with all aspects of your career. So if you wanted to check it out, head to the link below, which is bit.ly/work steps course, WORKSTEPS COURSE. Guys, this really is the only resource you'll ever need.